Oh man, this is
Yeah, and then the door closes.
we should have some people watching this, otherwise it's weird, no?
It does feel like we're being watched, right?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's a bit too much.
Welcome, man.
Thank you,
Welcome.
man. Appreciate it.
How are you?
I can complain. We
Yeah.
had a nice day today.
Yeah.
Was a nice session,
Yeah,
so I cannot complain.
interesting focus session today at the office.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, for people who don't know Andres Pesate, did I say that correctly?
Yes.
Andres is one of our chapter leads here at Sytac. He's one of our top consultants as well. He specializes in mobile technologies. We're currently with KLM, right? And yeah, I was super excited to talk to you today.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the invite.
No problem. And you're one of the, you're pretty much the first chapter lead we talked to
Oh,
on this
nice.
show. Yeah.
So this the standard and the expectations are high, eh? Damn it.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself, people who don't know who Andres is.
So my elevator pitch, to put somehow. So I'm originally from Venezuela.
Yeah.
I moved to the Netherlands 6 years ago this month. So time flies. A lot of risk skies.
How long?
6 years ago.
6 years ago. Yeah.
I was living in Spain before, and before that I was in Venezuela. But yeah, the last 6 years I've been here. I've been doing iOS development for around 9-10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly on that. I started working in Sytac next month 4 years ago also.
Wow.
So as you can see, time flies when you're having fun, how to say. Personally, I have a small dog that I didn't bring today because otherwise it's going to be a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
Love traveling, love having social activities.
What kind of dog?
She's a Pomsky, so she's a mix of a Pomeranian with a Husky. So diva style.
Diva. Yes.
For the ones that know, they know. So yeah.
Awesome, man. And you're one of our chapter leads. You're also one of our top consultants. And a lot of people know, hear what, the word chapter lead. Maybe they're not familiar with what the chapter is and so forth. We'll get into that a little bit later.
Okay.
But as far as being a consultant, like how do you feel about being a consultant here in the Netherlands or in general in your career? How did you get into that step? And
honestly, it kind of just happened. When usually you are looking for your first job and then you just land this company, and then it's not like you have like, I want to be a consultant, because I don't think no one really knows exactly what it means to be a consultant. Like you have this old days definition, which is pretty much not what we do nowadays.
Yeah.
But then it just kind of happened. I started working for an agency. They have in-house products. Then when I moved to Europe, I started working for a product company. Then I went to another agency. Then I came here to Sytac. So I was always working in this mix of like agency consultant environment. Yeah. And honestly, the reason why I enjoy it so much is because you have the opportunity to be involved in many different projects. So you're not really stuck with one. So if you really want to grow in your career, this really is a really good opportunity. And then later on, if you want to make a change, you can always make the change. Yeah. But at the beginning, I think it's a really good way to start.
Yeah, yeah. I also started in an agency as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
We were doing back in the day PHP-based websites for real estate companies.
It's a good business. PHP, I don't know. I know it's a bit of a polemic topic, but yeah.
It's basically websites. And I really liked it at the beginning, like you said, because you can just, like you have all these clients that you can, half an hour you're working on this, half an hour you're working on that.
Yeah.
But the thing that I didn't like is that sometimes it's just about like, patch it up and give it to the client, and you don't end up learning too much, and you're also like within like this specific stack-ish thing like that they have. But along the line you build especially if you're new, a lot of people start
but that's what I mean. Like I think at the beginning it's amazing because you have this amazing room of opportunities you can collaborate. But like you say, at some point you get in your career that you really want to see things through. And having 1 year, 2 years to actually develop something is not enough of time to actually see your baby come to life.
Exactly.
And then you really want to see that. So at the beginning I think it's great, and then at some point you really need to put it in the balance or be lucky that you get the nice projects.
Yeah. But take us a little bit back, man, like before you jumped into this agency business, right? Like as a you became a developer, obviously, became an engineer.
Yeah.
Did you start from mobile right from the start? Or?
I originally didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I was studying in Venezuela software engineering, to put it in English terms, because it's, you know, every country has different names. And then, of course, it's a very big field, right? It's not like you go study and say like, oh, I want to be a database administrator. You know, like I got from my dad. He was also a software engineer. So, so I always kind of like grew up in this environment.
Okay.
So I knew that I wanted to dedicate to this area, but I didn't know exactly. And then I think it was in the summer 2013. A friend came to with the idea to go to Chicago to do this iOS bootcamp. And I felt like, oh, you know, this.
What kind of bootcamp?
iOS specifically. So I was focused on mobile development for iOS. So we went there for 10 weeks. And it was like super intensive, 10 weeks of only doing iOS development to learn everything from scratch to the end. And then I kind of like combined that with what I was learning in university. And that's when I started working as well. Like I came back from Chicago and I immediately started looking for freelance jobs that I can actually put that into play. And then I started working full-time in a company in February 2014.
Okay.
So just before graduating, 1 year before graduating, I was already working full-time as a developer. And then kind of like I said, everything just kind of like followed through.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it started from the bootcamp.
Yeah, I think that was for me the moment I said like, this
I
is it.
want to do this.
I was looking for what I want to do, but this is it. Because in the university you're doing everything. You're doing back end, you're doing front end, you're doing mobile, blah, blah, blah. But then it's like, okay, you don't really know. But then I went there and this bootcamp was organized by a company that they were actually looking to train people to hire at the end. So it was a great idea. So they really taught you how it is to be a developer in the work environment. And I loved it. You know, it was super nice. Had a lot of fun in Chicago as well, because I mean, it's a nice city.
It's a great city,
And so I came back. I said like, this is what I want to do. And now for the past 9 years is what I've been doing.
The rest is history, man.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're with us here working with some of the top industry players in the world. And like, how do you feel now? Like, do you feel that you have a lot of responsibility working for an airline company?
I think every project you work on has a very big level of responsibility, because in the end, you, as an external, as a consultant, you really need to bring value to your role, right? What I think is the biggest difference here is that you really see the impact of the project towards the value that it brings to the users. What I mean is like, usually you're working on computer, you make the application, you deploy it, and then you have like, I don't know how many thousands or millions of users using it like worldwide. In the KLM project that we are working at the moment, it's being used by the KLM agents in the airports.
Right.
So if we screw up and we cannot board a passenger to a plane, then that's something that we are going to know about it, because we are really connected to the user that is actually making use of this application, right? So the feedback loop is so small that if something breaks, you're going to know right away.
Right away.
Yes.
And you know, something like really interesting, because you know how sometimes in the world you start talking about something and you realize yesterday you were talking about something very similar. I was talking to one of our sales guys yesterday, and he's like, well, a lot of our consultants want to have their impact, they want to do an impact on the end customer. But I told him, listen, sometimes the end customer can be an employee within the same business.
Indeed.
Like in this case, for example, where you're the agents within.
Indeed.
So
you talk to them. You see them. You go to the airport. It's like, oh, this guy is going to be using. I see the iPad Mini. It's like, oh, this guy is using it to help. You know, it's like, oh.
So now you see your mobile application being ran on airports.
Yeah, and also KLM has the policy of sending you from time to time to the operations, so you actually get in touch with the agents, understand, okay, this is what's going well, this is what's not going as well, and then you really have that like communication with them, and that's amazing. I love it.
No, that's great. Yeah, you see the impact. And sometimes, wouldn't you like? How do you feel? And I feel like, you know, you delivered applications to end customers, external customers before, and you're delivering to internal, let's call them internal customers. Well, who do you think is more critical? Like, not critical, but harsh.
I think they both behave in the same way, you know, because as an employee, you don't really care who's making this. You just care that you need to do your job and you cannot do it. The same as if you were using a banking app and then I'm going to make a transaction, then I'm going to bitch about the bank, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think both behave in the same way, honestly. The difference is that it's less people to personal.
There's also like another one where you're developing tools for developers.
Oh yeah, those are the worst. You don't want to make tools for developers, that's for sure. Me being a developer, I can tell you, I don't want to do that.
I don't want to develop for myself.
No, imagine working for Atlassian and being responsible for Agile and Bamboo and all this stuff. Like, no.
We're very critical, man.
Yes,
very critical people. Yeah. And so you, for someone who is just starting in technology, you said you started out in. I get this question a lot. Like, how would you start on this, right? So you started yourself from boot camp, but you also studied in school.
Yes.
Like, what would you recommend for people wanting to get started in tech or being a mobile developer or so?
I thought about it a lot, to be honest. I think the world is changing in that sense. So if I take it from my experience, I was in university. I started in 2010 and I finished in 2015. Mm-hmm. So university was still pretty much relevant for everything you wanted to do out there. Like you still needed to have, I don't know how it is in Europe, but in Venezuela you have like, if you're from the university, then you usually have a better reputation than other graduates from others, right?
Yeah, you have something to show.
Exactly, like that matters. But when it comes to IT, I realized that the market goes so fast that most of the times they don't really care where you study as long as you can prove that you know what you're doing, right? So the fact that I did this bootcamp, I think it was great because it really got me into the mobile field, but also the fact that I had this background information from university about anything related to software development, I think it gave me kind of like an extra boost to the bootcamp, you know? Yeah. So in the bootcamp I was with people that came from like military or economics or teaching, like completely different backgrounds. And the people the four of us that we actually had like a software engineer background, we were going so much faster than them because we already manage all the basic concepts when it comes to programming, right? Yeah. So long story short, I would say like it's good to find a crash course that can get you started and get you in the business. Yeah. Because in the end, you need to land your first project and your first company to be able to actually start learning. Yeah. But you really need to put emphasis in the basics. The basics. So maybe university is not for you, but really look of what are the basics that you need to like get into IT, and then find which area you actually want to do it. If that makes sense. Interesting.
Do you think there is a future in being a developer with all these like? I know it's a hot topic with all these tools that like AI based just generate code for you. Like, what do you think about that?
I think it's amazing, man. To be honest, if you think about it, everything we do as developers is making things easier for us. Like we're not lazy people, but we're lazy people in that sense. You know, I don't want to be writing the same network layer over and over again. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's why we come up with all these frameworks and all these libraries that you can just pull and play, and then let's actually do the meaningful stuff. That's what I see the future of AI and with ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot and all this stuff. Like if you can remove all the effort I need to put into creating the basic structure that I need, then I can actually focus on solving more important problems down the line, you know, and then that's how you actually get to have real innovation in the future. So that's how I see it.
So you welcome that change?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't want to be making another network layer in my life, you know, like just like press a button and it's there, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is what I need.
Yeah, exactly. And people think like we're developers, we just sit behind a computer and we write code, but code can also be really tedious, like and annoying to write, and you don't, like you said, I don't want to fucking repeat stuff like, you know, like
it's a solution. It's done. There's nothing else to tell.
Exactly.
I think that's also a very big misconception. People think developers are just people that write codes. In the end, you are an engineer. What you're being paid for is to make decisions, right? It's true. You know how to write the code. But when it comes to AI, the AI is going to give you a solution, and it's your job to decide if this solution is valid or not. And that comes from all the knowledge that you have. And all the knowledge that you have is what you're actually putting into this computer that is making the decision, right? Yeah. We're not at the point that the computer is like self-taught, so they still need you to learn this
give
stuff.
Give some input.
Exactly.
And there's also sometimes, I think you have that in your experience as well, sometimes the best technical solution is not always the best solution for the business.
Absolutely.
So it could be ideal, but some stakeholders, for example, have other constraints that are not given as an input to the program, right?
Correct. Yeah, you still need to gather all this information, all these requirements for so many different people. Yeah. And then, we know, like the bigger the organization gets, the bigger the project gets, the harder it becomes. Yeah. So, I think this is also where the computer is going to make it easier because it can keep all this context from all different places rather than relying on one person to gather everything.
Absolutely. Another reason I want to talk to you today, Andres, is
interesting.
What is it?
I don't know. I'm looking what's coming next.
No, it's because As a consultant, you're like you mentioned, you're working for a client, an external client, but you're also one of the driving forces within the company.
I try
with many initiatives that you're leading. So I mentioned like you're a chapter lead. We're going to get into that for a second. But there's other things, like for example, here at Sytac as a consultancy, we have some projects that are running the company. So we have something called a timesheet application. I think we talked about it before. It's a basic application to track hours. A lot of businesses have ready-made solutions, but we like to use things from custom-made things because it gives us the opportunity to build solutions that are customly tailored to our use cases.
That's the best way.
It's a tongue-tied...
Tongue twister, yeah.
Yeah, tongue twister. But one of the projects that you're leading is the Devcase.
Oh, baby.
That's your baby, right?
Yeah.
So tell us what a Devcase portal is, and just give us some context.
Yeah. So to put it simple, we are just like any other company out there. We need to hire people. And because we are developers, we are lazy, then we don't want to be doing manual work, so we want to automate it. So the solution for that, and it came before me, I'm not going to take the credit for it, it's a tool that automates the technical portion of our interview process. It means that the recruiter finds a candidate, it pushes in the system takes care of creating the technical case that they need to perform for us, and once it's ready, then it notifies one of our developers that is going to review it, give the feedback, and then it continues from there. It's clear, I guess.
Clear.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. So it generates a technical challenge that gets sent to the candidates. I'm guessing, so now that it generates this solution, it sends it, then it goes through all these hoops, and then you have to review the case and so forth. What do you think some of the interesting things about this project are that are not in other solutions like HackerRank, for example, or...
I wouldn't tie this up to HackerRank, to be honest. I think we are in completely different... I mean, of course, this is, first of all, not a product that we're commercializing. This is internal use. But when you look at HackerRank, they really focus on evaluating the capabilities of the candidate. For us, the evaluation process, it's still being done by one of our consultants, by one of our colleagues. But we are automating the process of creating kind of like a feedback loop, like when it comes from the recruitment side that they found the candidate and how we get it to the colleague to actually review.
I just wanted to clear that confusion because we're not automating the reviewing.
No,
we're automating the steps for
the communication
part. We value the human aspect and
absolutely 100%.
and we want our candidates to be reviewed by a peer that can give feedback as well. So it's not an automated question, multiple choice thing, or something that is graded by a robot.
Absolutely.
Hi there, sorry for the interruption. I realized after finishing recording the podcast that I didn't give a proper shout out to the people that collaborate into the Devcase tool, and I wanted to correct that. So Simona, Goran, Mohamed, Rafael, and all the people that actively collaborate to the tool, know that your work doesn't go unnoticed, and I really wanted to thank you for being part of this project. I really hope that we can continue working together and making this tool even greater than what it is today. So with that being said, back to the video.
If you're a developer and you're interested in joining us, interested in being a consultant, feel free to reach out to us. We're always hiring for mobile as well.
Oh yes, absolutely, please reach out.
We'll drop the link here in the description, and feel free to reach out. So you're doing this. You're doing the Devcase portal. You're working for KLM, but you're also a chapter lead. What is chapter lead? Like, what is it?
Chapter lead, the way we define it in Sytac, is the technical aspect of the social communication, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So I think you explained with Matthew in the previous episode that he was the consultant manager. So he was really focused on your social aspect of your relation with the client and with the company. The chapter lead, besides taking care of that, because in the end we're all humans and we also need to look into those aspects, we really focus on helping you grow technically within the company. So look at me as a peer that you can brainstorm and say like, hey, I really want to look for the next challenge in my career, I don't know what to do next, then I'm here to support you in that sense. If you're looking for a training, I'm here to support you in that training. I'm here to help the team actually share some knowledge together and build that team feeling within the company.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that the consultant manager is not responsible at all, but we do it with the chapter lead because we're closer to the consultants.
Mm-hmm. I've seen you busy trying to get people, because the challenge that we have in consultancy is that people work for different clients.
Yeah.
And that's a big challenge. And one of the ways I've seen you busy trying to do co-working sessions with people at the Amsterdam office, but here as well in the Haarlem office, to get together and do some pair programming. Sometimes it's successful, sometimes it's not, based on people availability, but that's normal. What do you think some of the challenges of being a consultant are, in the sense of like community and all of that?
Yeah, because I think a lot of people feel like if you're not working on the same project, then you don't have anything to share about. Mm-hmm. And I don't personally agree with that feeling. The fact that we're all working in different projects, it can also be taken as a blessing, because it means that you're all solving different problems at the same time, and you're exposed to different markets and different. So the same thing we were saying at the beginning, that the beauty of consultancy and agencies is that you have this room to work in different projects. Is what we have now. But you can explore it because you have all these people in your team that can tell you like, hey, I'm working in finance. These are the challenges and the security constraints that we're taking in consideration when we make this up. But I work in aviation, so these are the things that we're taking in consideration when we work in aviation, you know?
Yeah.
So for me, that's the beauty. And the fact that we can share all the knowledge together, I think it's something that we should really look into exploring even more than what we do now.
100%. Something, that we try to do also through meetups and through sessions where, co-working sessions, etc. So what are you busy with at the moment?
Well, KLM is of course my first responsibility. Then the chapter is something I'm really trying to see how I can boost it up even more this year. Try to get people to be more involved, like share more knowledge, more information, get together more. And I'm also exploring different ways on how we can improve the development process of the Devcase tool that we just explained. Because in the end, personally, I cannot be focusing in all these different contexts at the same time. I don't have all the time to do that, because I also need to focus on my personal growth as well.
Definitely.
So I'm also looking on ways on how I can automate this process and kind of like remove some of the things that usually land on manual input, and try to remove that and really focus on how to bring value to all these different places at the same time. If that makes sense.
Do you think? Do you feel like you have all the support you need within the company to do that?
I think it's a battle that we are chasing constantly, because there is no like silver bullet, to put it in English. We're a big company. Our main focus is still consultancy. So when it comes to looking internally, it's always trying to find the right balance, right? I think that's a challenge that we're struggling with, and we're definitely looking how we can improve it. Well, the session we had just before is an example of that. And all the things we want to try this year to see how we improve. But in the end, that's the only thing we can do, right? I mean, we have our ambitions, we have the things we want to achieve, and we just need to keep trying until it works.
100%. Speaking of, the environment that we work for Sytac. What's one of your favorite Sytac moments?
Man, I've been thinking about it.
You worked with us for 4 years.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, when I started, I actually went to the ski trip before starting in Sytac. So so the ski trip was in 20th March, I think, of 2019, and I started on the 1st of April. So it was funny to be part of the company even before starting. I requesting holidays from my previous employer to go on holidays with my new employer. So that was a funny moment. I don't know. I think over the years we had so many different experiences and events, and they were all unique in a sense. The ski trips for sure are one of my favorite ones, because I also love winter holidays. So if I need to name ones, I will definitely focus on the.
You can imagine my pain as a host for the show. Everybody keeps saying the ski trip.
There's nothing we can do about it.
No, that's good to hear. And we try to keep the social aspect alive. So we try to organize many things for our consultants outside of work to give some fun aspects as well.
I think that's something we really do great at Sytac. A lot of people think you're going to go work in consultancy. It means that you're going to be just placed at a client and then we're going to forget about you. Sytac is not like that, and I'm not saying this because we're having this conversation. This is a podcast. I truly believe this. We really focus on the social aspect of the person, and we are doing everything we can to make you feel that Sytac is your employer and not the client. You know, like we're struggling to get the team feelings and whatnot, but that's something that every company and every team, even if you work together, you're gonna have. But we really put all the effort, and we really put our money where the mouth is when it comes to the social aspect, and we're doing events every month, basically. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you have a doubt, definitely that's not a doubt to have with Sytac.
What is your least favorite Sytac moment?
Well, saying goodbye to people would be...
saying goodbye to people.
Yeah. So when people leave my team, it's probably because it's not like it happens a lot. I think we had only 2 people leaving the mobile team since I joined. But they were both really good friends of mine as well. Like we were actually close. So the fact that they were leaving the team is like, I understand why you're doing it. But yeah, it's a shame to be saying goodbye.
Yeah. No, I understand it. Something definitely we need to improve on is to
it's life.
Make
people are gonna come, people are gonna go.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it sucks.
yeah, definitely. Who's your favorite Sytac person?
Oh man,
if you had to name one person.
Do I need to name one person? I mean, it's been a long time. There's a lot of nice
That's
people.
the name of the game.
Let's say Bizan. No. I mean, you're definitely one of the my favorite person in the company. That's not a lie. No, I don't know. I mean, I get along with a lot of people in the company. The first person I met was Dennis, that is not in the company anymore. And
Dennis,
and Manuel, the recruitment manager. But yeah, I don't know. There are so many great people I still hang out with after these 4 years, and all the people that I've met. So I don't know. I would say it depends on the moment. Like if like a fun thing, I don't know. There is a lot of crazy people in the company, so I have a lot of fun with them. If it's work related, then it's also a lot. I don't know. I don't want to name anyone.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I understand. It's okay. So like you mentioned, the social aspect is very important for us. We work hard at the clients.
We play hard.
We play hard as well. And we want to keep that life balance.
Yes.
And so walk me through this. Let's say I joined the company. Let's say I've never had a consultant job before, and I joined Sytac. What happens?
If you join the mobile team, the first thing that's going to happen is that we're going to have onboarding session, one-on-one. I'm going to, first of all, walk into the company and all the usual stuff that you need to do. And then the first thing I do is ask you about your ambitions. Like, what is it that you're looking for in this new job that you're starting? And then based on that information, then we start working closely together for the next couple of months to see how we can steer your role in the company towards your ambitions. Because in the end, our whole point is to retain you in the company and make you happy. So the fact that we really put that effort at the beginning, I think it makes it easier down the line.
And of course, meanwhile, there's conversations taking place with the account manager to find a client that is, a match for your skill set and your ambitions and so forth. So it's two things in hand, right?
Absolutely, yeah, exactly. So I was looking for the chapter lead side, but indeed, there is a lot of different people taking care of the new joiners as well. And it's happening all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I said it before. I think we try to do it as a tripod, like basically, so the person joins, they have you as a chapter lead, coaching them, looking at their ambitions, seeing where they want to go in life and in career. There is also the consultant manager, and there is the account manager responsible for client projects and so forth. So this is the idea of the triangle that we try to implement here.
Cover every aspect.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not perfect. It's not a perfect triangle, but it works so far. It works. It works pretty good, and we're improving it based on feedback that we collect. What are the next steps, man?
Personally, or at Sytac?
Generally.
Personally, I'm looking to grow beyond mobile. I know that's a bit broad, but I really want to be able to support my team in places beyond just mobile development, right? So before I can do that, I really need to consider myself like I'm ready to coach people on those aspects. So I really put in effort on going beyond the mobile ecosystem. At Sytac, we're busy with a bunch of stuff. We just discussed it today, all the internal projects, how we want to keep improving the engagement that we have with our consultants, and how they feel the company, how they interact with us. So there is definitely no time to get bored.
Sounds good. And personally, I know the ski trip is coming up soon. You're getting geared up already?
Yes. I think this year I'm still not gonna have my own equipment, which is a shame.
No, okay.
But for next year, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna take care of the Black Friday deals or something and get my own snowboard, and then that's it, But yes, I'm really looking. It's in 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Amazing.
So you still have time to join the company. Just saying.
We can speed up the process.
Yeah, exactly.
Expedite it. I think we are coming to the end of our conversation today. Again, thanks.
Thank you, man.
For joining.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. My pleasure to have you here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, if you're interested in working with some of the top companies or players in different industries here in the Netherlands, consider joining us as a consultant, and reach out. We have more information on our website. We'll drop a link here. And thanks for watching.
Thank you, guys. Man, that was great, dude.
You liked it?
Yeah, that was fun, man.